Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's August 4th, 2016. Barack Obama, the 44th president, turned 55 years old today. One of the top news headlines all day for his birthday was that Dylann Storm Roof, the young white supremacist who's accused of shooting the Charleston church June 17th, 2015, it's reported that he was beaten today in the jail shower at the prison he's supposedly at. What I'm going to show in this video is why this story is coming out on the president's birthday. It is a tribute to the Civil War. During the time of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln was the president. We're going to talk about Abraham Lincoln's birthday, Barack Obama's birthday, which is today, the day of these headlines, and the parallels between the Charleston church shooting, the Civil War, and Obama's fate, which might very well end in political assassination just as Lincoln's did. So here's the image today. They've always been showing Dylann Storm Roof in the media with a Confederate flag. Remember, after the shooting, it began the debate, should South Carolina take down the Confederate flag, which has been hanging at the Capitol building since 1961, the 100-year anniversary of when the Civil War began, April 12, 1861. Barack Obama himself born in 1961 on August 4th. Dylann Roof currently 22 years old. Dylann Storm Roof's birthday is supposedly April 3rd, 4/3, the 93rd day of the year. The word propaganda has gematria of 93. If you're new here, I talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Also, that date's commonly written 4/3 in the United States. Charleston in gematria sums to 43. Civil War sums to 43. Abraham Lincoln was born on the 43rd day of the year, February 12th. He was the Civil War president. Here's a shooting that's in tribute to the Civil War, which we'll talk more about, with the shooter being born on 4/3. This was also a propaganda shooting. From his birthday until the date of this news is 123 days. The name Abraham Lincoln in gematria sums to 123. So does the phrase conspiracy or the word. 123, special number. Today's news also comes 48 days after the one-year anniversary of the shooting, June 17th. 48 days later, the news of the beating on August 4th, a date that can be written 4/8. Today also has 48 numerology, and in addition to that, the gematria of jail shower, where he was supposedly beaten, also sums to 48. So does propaganda the small way, the big way 93, like him being born on the 93rd day of the year, the small way 48. Hoax also 48. And this entire story of Dylann Storm Roof and the church shooting has been a hoax, which should be apparent to everyone because they said supposedly a lot of bullets were shot, 9 people killed, more injured, and they had church that very weekend. The shooting on a Thursday, church service that very weekend. They didn't even need to close it for a weekend to get it cleaned up. Can you imagine? So here's the further proof that it was a hoax. On April 4th, 2015, there was the shooting of Walter Scott in the back. Walter Scott shot in the back by a police officer. Do you remember this story? On the 47-year anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., April 4th. From 4/4 to June 17th, the date of the Charleston church shooting, Walter Scott was shot in Charleston, and then 74 days later, the church shooting also in Charleston. Between those shootings was the Freddie Gray incident in Baltimore. Freddie Gray was arrested April 12th, 8 days after Walter Scott was shot. He died April 19th, supposedly from injury sustained a week earlier on April 12th when he was arrested. In history, the Civil War began April 12th, 1861. No casualties in the first battle. The first recorded death was when graycoats got in a fight with protesters in Baltimore, and shots were fired, and the first deaths were April 19th. First deaths in Baltimore after shots fired in Charleston. Think about it. Freddie Gray dead April 19th, the same date the first casualties of the Civil War, also in Baltimore. Freddie Gray, graycoats, protesters. After the Freddie Gray shooting, the media brought out the provoking headlines, started the small protest, which ended up in the burning of some buildings. The Orioles game being played with no one allowed to attend. Remember this against the White Sox? Well, with regards to that number 74, it's very important to Freemasonry and the Zionist Jews who control the mainstream, who control the media, who wrote the Protocols of Zion in the late 1800s about dividing the people among race, religion. Look at this. White supremacist in Gematria sums to 74. Dylann Storm Roof sums to 74. The shooting was at 110 Calhoun Street. Calhoun has Gematria of 74. 110 is another number found around tragedy. The World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall. The name Osama bin Laden equals 110. Another false flag. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian that cuts through New York City. Masonic 74, Jewish 74. The reason Oregon is 74, or the reason I added that to the list, is because that's the only state that sums to 74. It's the 33rd state. Only the 33rd state sums to 74. This is a Masonic pairing. We're going to talk about how Dylann Storm Roof got a 33-count federal indictment in just a moment. Cross equals 74. Think about how the white supremacist KKK group is known for burning crosses. White supremacist 74, cross 74. K is the 11th letter. The KKK, 11 plus 11 plus 11 is 33. Race war in Gematria also sums to 33. Muhammad, the spiritual figure in the Quran, 74. Jesus, 74. Joshua, 74. That's the English translation of Jesus. Yeshua, the Greek spelling, 74. Messiah, 74. Gospel, 74. Occult, 74. Lucifer, 74. There's a reason for this duality with Lucifer and Jesus both summing to 74. The Freemasons believe in divide and conquer, order through chaos, use the concept of duality constantly against us as people as a control mechanism. When Dylann Storm Roof was arrested, he was arrested on Interstate 74 after being spotted by a woman named Debbie Dills, supposedly. We're going to watch that news interview, just a clip of it. Just think about how ridiculous these names are. Debbie Dills, Dylann Storm Roof, all this 74, arrested on Interstate 74. The reflection of 74 is 47. The word jury 74, the word judge is 47. Authority 47, Christian 47, Debbie Dills 47, Bible study class 47. That's what Dylann Storm Roof shot up. If you do the S exceptions on Bible study class, it also sums to 74. He got a 33-count federal indictment on the date July 22nd, 22/7. Remember, if you divide 22 by 7, you're given the number for pi. If you write out 22 divided by 7 as words in Gematria, it sums to 314. Just like 3.14, the number for pi. This is propaganda in cycles and circles coded by the numbers. With regards to 33, race war equals 33, KKK, like we talked about, so does false flag, police, federal, order, masonry, secrecy. The Freemasons control government, media, police. They use these institutions of authority to dupe us by the numbers again and again. The street it happened on, Calhoun, also has the Gematria of 322, the number of skull and bones, the Masonic order. George W. Bush, a member prior to Obama. Let's take a minute to watch Debbie Dills talk about spotting Dylann Storm Roof. Fictitious story. Here we go.
Right off that I think you guys are heroes, and I think most people will agree with me. But Debbie, can you explain to me, you're on your way to work. What happened?
I was just on my way to work, taking my normal route to work on Highway 74 coming into Kings Mountain.
Highway 74,
and,
Kings Mountain.
Just on my way to work, and I had heard the news about the shootings in Charleston last night when I left church myself, and I had a lot of it on my mind, and I had really been praying for the people, and I was praying for them actually when I seen the car, and I had watched a lot of news coverage about the shootings and stuff, and I had seen the pictures of the car, and I seen the pictures of the young man. I had seen all that, and as I was coming to work, I don't normally pay a lot of attention. I'm not the most observant person in the world, and I seen the car, and I didn't know what drew my attention to the car, and I seen that it was black, and then I also seen that it had a South Carolina license plate on it, which kind of made me look again. But then in my mind, I'm thinking, no, that's not, that can't be. Not at that time. It's just kind of maybe a little jitter, nervous, thinking about everything that had been going on. So just the fact that, it was similar to what I had seen on TV, but I never dreamed that it would be the car.
All right, so the interview goes on and on. I just wanted you to hear the key details. Debbie Dills, Interstate 74. The name of the man next to her, Todd Frady. And notice how he asked her if she was scared. Remember, all this is about fear-mongering. Todd Frady, cat, afraid? These stories are here to provoke fear, division, anxiety. I want to show you why they made the arrest in Kings Mountain. In Gematria, that sums to 167. Think about it. The shooting was June 17th. Re-scrambling of the numbers in the date. 167 is also the 39th prime number, the number of books in the Old Testament that the Zionists go by. And again, it is the Zionists controlling the media, scripting these stories by the numbers. The man's name who's with Debbie Dills, Todd Frady, look at this. More coding for Civil War in Charleston. Todd Frady has the same gematria as Civil War, and the small way, Civil War, Todd Frady, the same thing, just like Charleston, just like Lincoln being born on the 43rd day of the year. And regarding those numbers, 4397, direct ties to Barack Obama as well. Barack Obama is the 44th president, but really only the 43rd person to be president because Grover Cleveland counted as 22 and 24, making the count off by one with the person to be president and the presidential number ever since. Obama gave his acceptance speech in Grant Park in the land of Lincoln. Grant Park equals 43. He accepted the election November 4th, 2008, also a date with 43 numerology. In the time of Obama, they've really been pumping division more than we've seen in recent decades. This is all part of the setup. I want to show you what's up with the name Barack in Gematria. Barack sums to 97, like Civil War the big way. It also sums to 216, and August 4th, his date of birth, is the 216th day of the year. In Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, studying numbers, this number represents God, very important number, coded into Obama's name. With regards to Lincoln, there was an assassination attempt on his life at the Willard Hotel February 23rd, 1861, just before the Civil War got underway, just before he took office, March 4th. And he survived that. He wasn't even shot February 23rd, 1861, but there was supposedly an assassination attempt. Then 216 days, or 216 weeks later, he would be assassinated and die. That number 216, important to Lincoln, important to Barack. I want to show you what's up with where Lincoln was assassinated very quickly. The Willard Hotel is where the first assassination attempt happened. The next attempt came at Ford's Theater. Ford's Theater, gematria of 139, just like Willard Hotel, just like Freemasonry. And with the reduced method, it's the same for each one as well. Look at this. All a match. When Barack Obama first became president on February 11th, 2009, he reopened Ford's Theater where Lincoln was assassinated. You know, why? I'm still asking why. If anything happens to Obama before the end of his presidency, or even in the 2 years after he's done where he's supposed to stay in Washington, remember these comparisons. Obama's the 44th person to be president, and the number 44 has haunted every president that has died in office. Abraham equals 44, Honest Abe, the small way, 44. The first president to die in office died on 4/4, April 4th, just like Martin Luther King Jr., and so much more. The last president to die was JFK, the 35th term president. Catholic equals 35. He was also the 44th term president. He was the 35th president, the 44th term president, killed in the middle of Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Freemason. All of these assassinations over the years seem to be scripted, planned long in advance. Think about how Lincoln died by the gunshot of an actor in a theater. In my book, I go into it deeper, the actual play he was watching. There's so much to the coding of history and these historic events. But anyway, the purpose, what you're supposed to take away if you're new here, is your news is completely fictional. It's all propaganda. We are sold out by the media, our government, every single day, lie after lie, agenda item after agenda item. And we need to wake up as a people, we need to recognize this, and we need to hold the parties accountable that need to be held accountable. The media and the government, it needs to be in the hands of reasonable people, not madmen as it is now who want nothing but hate, division, tyranny, the things they program. All right, Truth Seeker, until next time, Core, one last important point. With regards to Obama's birthday being on August 4th, 8/4 as we write in the United States, Obama in Jewish gematria equals 84. So does United States of America. The date Lincoln died, April 15th, 1865, that's a date with 84 numerology. And if you read about Lincoln's assassination, one of the accused is a Jesuit who escaped and was protected by the Catholic Church. Jesuit has this gematria of 84, the secret order within the Catholic Church. 4 years ago on Obama's birthday, the Olympics were happening in London. August 4th, 2012, Serena Williams was receiving the gold medal, and during the song, the national anthem, where the lyrics were sung but our flag was still there, the U.S. flag fell from the rafters, right on cue. On Obama's 51st birthday, what's special about 51 is its connection to conspiracy and also federal. You know, think about it. The U.S. flag falling on Obama's 51st birthday at this world celebration, the Olympics, symbolic. And it's all by the numbers, it's all by design. It's all a slow tormenting, mocking of the people of this nation and the people of the rest of the world. You know, it's not just the United States that lives under the torment of this gang. This is the New World Order, which is a Masonic, Zionist world order. Until next time.